Hey guys, boy, I've been out doing a lot of racing. Just haven't got any video. It's so hard to get video when you got three nitros running and my buddy has a electric. We're all helping each other out, but boy, it gets chaotic. But we're getting it dialed in. So stay tuned for some more video. Oh, and shout out to my boys, Justin and Jason. They set up a new Facebook page called Family Affair Nitro RC. So check it out, guys. I wanted to show y'all my little setup. This is the buggy I was running in that last video. That my son got a little video, sent it to my phone, published it. It was a crappy video. But this is the buggy that was running it. So I wanted to show y'all my setup in it today. And that's it. Let's get to it. I run the Reds R5R. I have updated the velocity stack to a 7mm high velocity stack inside. Run a Reds clutch, carbon fiber, aluminum, bell 15, spur 46. I run the one piece, guys. I run what the manufacturer tells me to run and tune it to it and gear it. This is for torque. Short technical track. X1 torque, 2104. I run an exhaust cooler. This time of year you don't need it, guys. And up north you probably don't even need it. But down here in Texas, when it's 100 degrees in the summer, and you need to keep that fuel cool, you need one. So some of you summer guys where it's real hot, you might want to think about that if you're having problems in the summer with your tuning. Fuel filter. Yeah guys, I run the fuel filter. We all know there's a clunk with the fuel filter inside and you don't need it. I don't necessarily use it for filtering. I use it for filtering air bubbles. Yes, it separates them a little bit, guys. Does it completely get rid of them? No. Does it help? Absolutely. So I use it more of a separation for air bubbles right there. 170 SBLs, TBLs for the torque. I added springs between the brake shoes. This particular 8.2 car did not come with that. The new 3.1s do. I put the bearing graphite on top. Horsehair braids for throttle returns. They work great. They're cheap. Anyway, let's get to it. So, my little setup, the way I go about things. Let's start out with the camber and caster gauge. Alright, camber and caster gauge. Camber and caster, camber's this right here, guys. The way your tire moves in and out, how it sits, in and out, in and out. So I run from anywhere from -1 to a +1. Most tracks I run -1. Shorter technical tracks I run, more negative. So, and the way that we do this is we get 6 to 8 inches off the ground or your table. Drop it. Now come in here and make sure you're off your wheel nut. You do it right behind it. This is where I like to go. Right behind it. Boom. Steady even. See, I already have mine set, guys, so it should be on. Turn it around. Do it again. And I turn around and flip it around. I just don't want to do it in the same spot every time, come up with the same, reading. I move it around and drop it. Make sure I'm coming up with the same reading every time I move it around. Boom, -1. Boom, -1. All right, that's how we set our camber. I go -1. You see that, guys? Toe in is this, in and out, right? Toe in and out. I run a 16th toe out. All you racers know, we always run a toe out. So I run 16th toe out. Ride height. I run, for my ride height, I run 30 in the rear and 29 in the front. So, ride height gauge, guys. You can go get this anywhere. E-mains, anywhere. But you need one of these. Not necessarily this brand, but any ride height gauge. And you come under here. Make sure you have to get on the chassis, guys, behind where if your nose flips up. The reading comes on the flat part, back under here. Take your reading. After you dropped it, boom, ride height. Come back, you readjust it for the rear. We come in, we slide it under. Now remember, guys, if you have a skid plate in the back, that doesn't count for the height. You have to measure on the chassis, guys, right in front of it. Get your ride height. Put it there. I just gave you my ride height. Shock oils or pistons. Moving on to the shocks. I run GEHA 4 hole pistons. Run only for all my diffs and my shocks. The PTRC Racing 400, which is 40 weight. 325 in the rear, which is 32.5. 32.5 in the rear, 40 in the front. So we got our ride heights, we did our camber and cast, our toe out. I run 2-degree toe in on the rear, which is how you adjust that, is your dots here in the back, in or out. Run 2 degrees. That's pretty standard, guys. And that. All right, as far as the diffs, well, you know, technology's changed, times have changed, so I'm getting caught up with all this higher diff oils and stuff. So I started out running 10 in the middle, 8 in the front, and actually I started out with, I'm gonna take that back, 7 in the middle, 5 in the front, 5 in the rear. Just wasn't getting the good punch that I wanted to over the jumps and stuff, and so I changed it up. I went to 10 in the center, 8 in the front, 5 in the rear. Seemed like he was just giving me too much push. When I come off a turn to line up for another jump coming off a turn, it was just real unpredictable and it would snap loose. So I wasn't getting a good rotation. So, you know, I wasn't a real big believer in changing the front diffs and the rear diffs, you know, the oil up. So I wanted to try something different. Oh, and shout out to Corey over at TTR Racing. I've been watching that video on the diffs, man. You got it going on over there. I'm actually curious to see what goes on when you put in that 3000 in the back. So publish that video so I can check it out. So what I ended up doing, I went to 14 in the center to keep my punch, and then I put 5 in the front, 5 in the rear. Helped out a whole lot. Got the car basically pretty close to where I wanted it. But it was still a little snappy. And I see where Corey, he's going to go down on in the back to give him a little more rotation. I see where he's coming from. That's where I was thinking about doing. But like I said, I have a hard time of changing the front and the back. I want the same predictability in the front as I do in the back. So the way I'm going to change it is through my sway bars. So I'm going to leave 5 in the front, 5 in the back, 14 in the middle, and I'm going softer sway bar to see if I can get the rotation, which I should be able to. So we're going to go with that. So because I'm afraid 3,000 in the back, 3,000 in the front, so I'm create too much wheel speed, the differential off the center diff with the oil, it's just not going to be right. The ratio won't be right. So, but get back with me, Corey, on that. And moving on to since we're talking a little bit about the diffs, I see where some of you guys are having problems with your ring and pinions. We all know those center shim, those shims, the silver shims, we shim our diff on and off the gas. Let me back up. The center diff or the rear diff, the silver shims. That's what we use to shim the diff off the case, the gear case. Well, what I'm seeing at a lot of y'all are probably getting that part right, but what you're thinking about on the ring and pinion, there's a gasket that goes on that gear that goes onto your diff cup. They offer smaller ones and bigger ones, thicker ones and skinnier ones, thinner ones. So if you got your cups all shimmed in, your diff all shimmed in, your case right, and your pinion's too loose or too tight, that's going to create a problem. So how you shim that is through those gaskets, the thickness of those gaskets. If it's too tight, you need to put a thicker gasket on it. If it's too loose, you put a thinner gasket on it. So maybe that's a little tip. If it applies to you, great. If it don't, don't worry about it. So maybe that'll help some guys out. What else is there? That's really about it. We're going racing Friday night. They're racing Friday night instead of Saturday this week because they're having an on-road race. This is my setup, and we're going to hit it hard. I'm out.